Hi guys, so I'm just going to show you how to do basic butterfly braid around to finish off one of these if you're just doing a single square, which are great for coasters or pot holders if you're using a decent cotton or twine or something. They're just really handy. And all you need is a crochet hook, or your fingers if you don't have a crochet hook, that's big enough to hold the yarn that you have. So if you don't have a crochet hook, you can just use your fingers and pull it through. But with a crochet hook, it's often a little quicker. So we're just going to pop it through your corner here. Make sure all your strands are caught and untwisted. And then do the same on the next one. Make sure they're nice and straight. And you're going to grab it and pull it through. So grab your next one, make sure they're all caught and untwisted. Pop it on the yarn and pull it through. I'm just going to do this all the way around. So it's really simple. This is why you could do it with your fingers instead of a crochet hook if you don't have a crochet hook. This one is a 4-ply yarn, so there's a lot of strands, so just make sure you catch all of the strands. If you've done this with a chunky 1 hour weight, there's going to be a lot less strands to worry about pulling through. But just give it a little tug, we'll just keep on going. So around the corner. So the hardest part of this is making sure you've got all your strands pulled through nice and straight. So really nice, quick, simple way to finish off the project. You see how quick this is to do. Make sure you get all the strands. Don't worry if it starts bunching up, because we're going to give it a little pull before we secure it to make sure it's all nice and laid flat. So last one. So give them all a nice little pull to make sure they're nice and even. And you get it to lay flat. You've got your little one here, and what we're going to do is we're going to strap just a small strand of the yarn you're using. I fold it over to give it extra strength. Then we'll take a hook and we're going to go through that first one that we done. We're going to go through there, just through the corner. Pull it through the corner, pull it through there, and then pull that yarn through that loop. So you've just hooked it around and then give it a pull, and that joins the two corners together. Do one last check that it's all pulled nice and straight, and that will relax down over time as the yarn relaxes. So then we're just going to grab one strand at a time and the yarn needle, and we're going to make sure this is really nice and secure. So make sure you've pulled it tight, and then you're going to go just around a strand or two and tie a knot. Just want to make sure it's nice and secure on there, and then you're going to feed down through like we did when we wove in the ends. We're just going to feed these down through. So feed it through. This is just going to make sure you're going through the middle of your bundles, remember, so that way it won't show on either side. Re-thread your needle if it comes out. And then we're going to go down a different direction through both, just to make sure. I always like to do at least 2 directions, and then snip your yarn and your end height in the middle. So we're going to do the same thing with this one. You're going to thread, don't forget, tie a little knot around a strand or two just to make sure it's secure, and then thread down through and along. So the weaving in the ends is no different than when we first secured it. So give it a pull, make sure nothing is bunched up, and snip it again. Even out any strands you find. I've missed a loop there, but don't worry about it. This is why you want to make sure you've got all your loops, because otherwise if you miss one you got out. But I will come back and fix that myself later, because this is only a sample, it won't be in a project anyway. But yeah, always make sure you've got your loops, because if you get to the end you'll find you have one that's loose otherwise, but I can work that back through later on. But there we go, that's how, and it gives this lovely neat braided edge. So this is the butterfly braid finish. It doesn't create a pretty edge. So nice and simple. So check back soon and I'll show you how to join 2 different ones together. And then there's also tutorials on how to create this style with the daisy in the middle as well as this flat, and different ways to secure the back of your work. So have a look at the rest of the videos and I'll see you soon.